highly successful recently with its MPV van and Miata sports car, and there are hopes that the updated 323 will win similar praise. Mazda keeps posting record sales, and 1990 promises to be another good year for the Hiroshima-based manufacturer. The 323 hatchback is a praiseworthy styling job, and at last breaks away from what has become a generic theme for subcompact Japanese rivals. Far too many Japanese hatchbacks have looked the same, a point that has always puzzled me. European manufacturers seem to endow their small cars with individuality, and it seems surprising that Japanese makers have found this so difficult. The 323's rear view is especially attractive, with very rounded lines and an interesting taillight arrangement. From some angles it looks a little like the Peugeot 205, which is regarded by experts as one of the most successful small car designs ever. A reasonably substantial body-side rub strip is featured, and this extends neatly around front and rear bumpers. As seems to be the case these days, bumpers are body-colored. These bumpers look nice, but they're very vulnerable to scuffing by careless parkers. They need a more substantial rubber bump strip to take care of this. Base engine is a 1.6-litre fuel-injected four-cylinder unit that develops 82 horsepower. It's a lively motor with a 5-speed manual transmission, and the car is fairly sporty and responsive. With a base price of $9,600 and all-around fuel economy in the 7.5 litres per 100 kilometres range, the 323 isn't exactly going to put you in the poorhouse. 100 kilometres per hour can be reached in under 10 seconds, and the car was brisk enough to remind me of an 8-valve VW GTI. I was surprised by the smoothness and quiet running of the 1.6-litre engine, and also by the lack of bodywork wind noise at highway speeds. The new 323 is larger than the old model, and it shows inside. Mazda claims it's one of the roomiest in its class, and I've no reason to doubt it. Headroom is good, and taller drivers will like the extra long front seat tracks, something all cars should incorporate. Suspension uses lightweight McPherson struts up front and a refined version of Mazda's twin trapezoidal link suspension at the rear. Road holding is predictable and agile thanks to some good work by Mazda's suspension people. Interior treatment is excellent and much better than previous Mazdas in this market slot. An attractive dash design with clear instruments merges into the door trim to provide a cozy cockpit feeling. Our car was pretty basic, but for some strange reason it was equipped with cruise control. There's a nifty drinks holder, map pockets and other useful cubby holes. The rear seat splits in 60-40 fashion to make best use of available cargo space. On the minus side, the radio is mounted too low for easy use, and door mirror controls are hidden behind the steering wheel along with the cruise control master switch. All in all, though, this is one of the nicest hatches around. It compares well with VW's excellent Golf models, in addition to the Suzuki Swift, Ford Escort and Dodge Colt. The Subaru Justy is also a rival, and Honda's Civic hatchback is very tempting in this class. The Nissan Micra is quite a bit smaller, and Toyota has dropped its Tercel hatchback, so the choice is shrinking if this is your kind of car. Ted, this might be the best hatchback in the market.
I'm afraid I agree with you 100%. Next to the Honda Civic, this is the one. I love the styling of it. I think Mazda has to admit they've copied the Peugeot 205 here. The engine is a beautiful little motor, lots of excellent, comfortable. I can't criticize this thing. The only thing I can possibly gripe about is that the equipment level is weird. That car had cruise control, but did not have air conditioning. I could have used air conditioning.
Strange. I don't know quite how that crept in. It almost looks as though there was a glitch in the computer in Japan, and they put that in instead of something else, because, I mean, normally you'd choose power windows before that. But the trouble with cars like this, it's so good, and there are others like it too in the market, that it's hard to find anything really strong to criticize. They're very well made, and they run well, and what more can you ask?
The North Americans, I'm afraid to say, could not build a car like this for love or money. They are incapable of building a little jewel like this. For what reasons, who knows? They cannot do it. And they better get used to it, because these cars are going to continue to come from Japan. They're getting better and better and better, you know?
The only problem is, I think that in some cases, manufacturing costs in Japan are getting very high, and it's cars like this into the market at a low price, and they're getting quite expensive. I think this 16-valve engine, we did try that too, and that was a real flyer with a 16-valve engine.
But just think about the technology of the one that we drove, that little engine itself. 10 years ago, that would have been unheard of. But How they can make an engine with that much power and smoothness is
exactly,
amazing.
an entry-level hatch. I'll tell you, years ago people used to boast about Mini Coopers and Escort GTs from Europe and so forth, but this car would beat them all. I mean, it's Grand Prix in, 25 years ago. Okay, let's sum up here. What I didn't like about this car was really only one tiny pick, scratched very easily. Did like the styling, wonderful styling, as good as a hatch. Great, wonderful. Value, almost a perfect car. It's full.
And we'll be right in the Rust.